John Lawrence here again to help you with your job interview. So I want to go right ahead. This is part two. First part's about a 30-minute video. I spent almost the entire video talking about one major point. That is this. Please do not try to impress these HR people or try to sell yourself to them directly, okay? You impress them, of course, because you want the job, but you sell yourself indirectly with what I call quiet confidence, keeping your answers short. But above all, it's the knowledge of what I'm going to say to you right now. And again, you please go back, watch the video. I spent almost all the time. I've helped people from all over the world, banking and finance professionals, doctors, lawyers, IT professionals, engineers of every kind get jobs all over the world. I've been spending 7 years, 25,000 classes with more than 7,500 professionals in over 70 countries. And I started the Grow Confident channel and brand because confidence is a critical thing. And so I spent the first month doing some videos. What is wrong with your English? I've been talking about confidence related to the English language, but I coach people who are learning also to be confident in any other area. So that's what my channel is about. So I want to go back to this point. It is not your job to impress the HR people directly, because why? They're already impressed. How would I possibly know that? Because you were contacted for a job interview. They don't take the time to process all these resumes, spending hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for real to do one job interview, even if they don't hire the person. I'm serious. It takes a lot of money. Some of these bigger companies, it costs a lot of time. Time is money. So when you get an interview invitation, you can be sure that they're impressed with you. They know you're qualified. They know that you are the person that they need to interview. They're already impressed on a professional level. It is human resources. It is not AI resources. So please know they're already impressed with you on a professional level. Now they want to see what you're like on a personal level. Do they like you? Do you come across as someone that's teachable, trustworthy, honest, genuine, transparent? Do you have some good soft skills? All of these things are critical. They don't hire people they don't like, and they certainly don't hire people they don't trust. And they can tell that pretty quickly. But if you're going on and on for questions that should be answered in 2 minutes or less, more around that benchmark, they will love you. If you open up the blinds, the curtains, and let them see who you really are and keep your answers short, keep it real, be transparent, they will be able to see if they like you or not. They don't hire people they don't like, and it's very hard to like someone when people are going on with these long answers trying to impress the HR people. Look, it's a redundant activity. They're already impressed. So now we're going to move forward with some of the other things that are important. For example, I talked about the last video, please tell me about yourself. One of the worst 90 to 95% of people get that wrong. It's one of the worst questions and answers in a job interview, I think, ever. Because I've done this with so many people. I used to do simulations. They're like, yeah, can I practice? And I let them practice with no coaching. It was 95% of the time, that question was a train wreck. So I encourage you, that is the most important question that you can answer, and you can do it in like 2, maximum 3 minutes. And if you do it properly, I guarantee you, they will shortlist you if you're qualified more than another person. Okay? So please know that. Please watch that video. I've been doing that, as I said, for 7 years. And I specialize in that. I evaluate your English. So if you need me for one-on-one coaching, I will be happy to help you. Just put it in the comments, please. All right, let's go. Now, what about this question? What are your strengths? What are your strengths? I always say this. Think of 2 of your most outstanding professional qualities. Just 2 and plus 1. I'll share with you in a minute. 2 plus 1. All right. So you think about what are the best qualities about you as a professional. And it could be working with a team. It could be that my whole life I wanted to be doing this thing. And talk to them about it, but do it in 2 minutes. Don't go on and on and on and on. Well, I have this strength, and because of that strength, this will be good and this will be valuable. Look, they're HR professionals. You don't need to give them an analogy or illustrate why your strength is relevant. They know that. You don't need to do that. They hate that. They want short answers. So tell them 2 things. If you don't know, ask a previous employer, ask a trusted colleague, your wife, your husband. What do you think are the most outstanding things about me professionally? If you're not quite sure, and sometimes it's good to get feedback from another colleague. So do that. 2 strengths to answer the question. Now, what about, like, for example, you could say, I really enjoy working on a team. I've been a team leader, as you saw in my resume, for almost 3 years. And I really like collaborating with the team and hearing their feedback. I get energized by that. Or it could be something completely different, right? So, and then have a 3rd strength available for what? Well, they can ask a question maybe later like, why do you consider yourself a good candidate for this position? And then what you do, or why should we hire you? Look, the answer to that question, why should we hire you, or what reason do you think you're a good candidate for this position? They're exactly the same. It's exactly the same answer. It is your strengths. Your strengths is the reason why they should hire you. So in case they ask that, you can just say, well, I consider this strength and this strength, as I had mentioned before, and I would like to offer one more strength that I have that I would feel would be 3 great reasons why I'm a good candidate or why you should hire me. Keep it simple, maximum 2 minutes per question, okay? You don't really want to go over that amount. They will love you for that, okay? Now, what about for a weakness? What about that? And as I talked about in the previous video, briefly, it's this. One weakness, just one, and please don't have your head down and like, oh, I'm so sorry, and I need to work on this. Like you're talking to a priest confessing your sin. You mention it with, this is an area where I feel I need to work on. And please, I beg you, if you're English as a second language learner, do not ever say, I need to work on my English. I need to improve my English. They hate that. And even worse, they hate perfectionism. Oh, I tend to be a perfectionist. That's not an answer. That is not a weakness either. That is a characteristic of you personally. It's a characteristic of you as a person. And it's not necessarily a weakness. It can be a great asset, professionally especially. I'm going to give you one example. There's many. You can go online to look at what are some good answers for that. Ask ChatGPT, but pick only one. For example, I really like to be organized. And if I feel that I'm not on top of things and I don't have all the information, I tend to feel stress and anxiety. The cortisol level goes up. I don't feel like I'm in control. So I use my Google Calendar. I use multiple reminders for all the different tasks I need to be aware of, participate in meetings that we have to do. I put that all there. I use multiple reminders. It's synced to my tablet, my laptop, and my smartphone. So I use all of these reminders so that I don't miss appointments, that I don't miss the information. I use the notes in the calendar section so that I can make these devices remember for me so I can forget them and just keep focusing on what I need to do today. So that's an example. I get stressed, and I do get stressed about trying to remember multiple things. I don't like that feeling. So that's an area of weakness that you can work on. Organized, right? So that's one thing. Now, what if they ask you, people stress about this question, what if they ask me a question and I don't know the answer to it. You don't know everything. I don't know everything. You don't need to memorize. That's another thing. Don't memorize your answers, please. You try to recall an answer to a question in a real world moment. You're going to forget. Prepare this many questions they could ask, but the top ones, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Number one, tell me about yourself. But don't memorize your answers. You know the answers to these questions. Look, the chances that they're going to ask you a question, they ask me a question, I don't know the answer. Again, so what? And this can happen maybe, the chances of that happening are maybe 1 in 2 or 3 or 4 or 500, that they'll ask you a question in a job interview that you don't know. It's possible they may ask about a coding language. And what you do is this. That's not something that I studied in my university years. And it isn't something I came across in my professional life. So I'm not sure the answer to that question. I like to entertain people. So I would be like, if you give me one moment, I can check with Gemini. I would say that because I like to make people smile. But the reality is you don't stress, more stress and anxiety over what if they ask a question that they'll probably never, ever ask. 1 out of hundreds of chances that may happen. But if it does, you don't know, no problem. And they'll be like, okay, no worries. And let's go to the next one. That's what you do. So if they ask you a question, you don't know the answer, that's how you respond. Now, for all of you people that are learning English as a second language, I have students here. I'm in Brazil. I'm a Canadian, but I live in Brazil. Met people in over 70 countries, right? But mostly Brazil, China, Turkey, South Korea, Japan, Italy, and many other countries, Saudi Arabia as well, all kinds of them. So when you're there and it's a second language like English, they can ask you a question and you didn't understand what they said. And it could be because they could be from some countries where it's maybe a little more difficult to understand it. What do? Don't panic. You smile in these job interviews, especially when you're introducing yourself. A nice, relaxed smile. You don't need to show your teeth, but you're putting your shoulders back, a nice, relaxed smile. It looks professional. And the dopamine, the endorphins, the happy hormones are released into your blood to help you stay more calm, more relaxed. So smiling is not just aesthetically pleasing to the eye, it's also aesthetically pleasing to the ear. Even on the phone, I can tell if a person's smiling or not. So when you're smiling, it's professional and it helps keep you more relaxed. Because let's be honest, these job interviews are very challenging, right? It's one of the most difficult things that we can do in our professional life. So let's be honest, right? It's not so easy. It's not so fun. So if they ask you a question and you're listening, but you didn't hear what they said, you smile. I want to make sure I understood correctly. Can you please repeat your question? Just like that, with a nice relax, and they'd be like, oh, yes, of course. Now, if they ask you a question, and this happens because we're human, if they ask you a question where you heard them, but you didn't hear them because you were thinking about your last answer, and your mind drifts, and then they ask the question, and you're like, you didn't hear one word they said. It happens. Don't panic. What do? It's the same thing. You smile. I want to make sure I understood. Could you please, instead of saying, could you please repeat? You can say, could you please rephrase that? I want to make sure I understood. Another thing, never apologize when you make mistakes in a job interview, especially you English as a second language learners. When you make mistakes in English, never say the words, I'm sorry. I talk about that in my first video. What is really wrong with your English? My answer, nothing is wrong fundamentally. You're like a tree, you're growing. There's nothing wrong with a 2-year-old tree. It's not as big as a 10-year-old tree. There's nothing wrong with the tree. People are always blaming themselves. Never say those words. They don't want to hear it, and it's bad for your confidence. So you smile. Could you please rephrase? I want to make sure I understood correctly. And they'd be like, oh, of course. Okay, now, what if they ask you a question like a situational question, and you need to think about your answer. What do? You smile, you smile. It's so important, by the way. I can't emphasize this as a professional speaker to smile. Unless you're at a funeral, using your smile is so good. Keeps you nice and calm, and it's great to see and hear. Trust me on that. So you smile. They ask you a situational question. I was a national insurance company. I was applying for a job years ago. I had worked for United Parcel Service on the phone for 3 years, and then as a frontline supervisor for almost 3 years after. And so they asked me a particular question, and I had to think back like 20 years about, not that I didn't know the answer, but I wanted to give the right answer, right? And you English second language learners, you want to say it as well in English as you can. So sometimes you can freeze. Don't apologize. You can just say, can you just give me one moment, please? I want to make sure I give you the best answer. And they'd be like, go ahead. A lot of the HR people, they just look at their phone because they got 19 messages there. So take your time and collect your thought and then answer it. And they will be smiling and you'd be like, okay, I'm ready. Don't be afraid to just be human. And you're as much in charge of this meeting as these HR people. They may have the power to hire you, but you're there also evaluating them. What kind of people are these HR people? They come across as terrible. Your first impression is not good. You might want to rethink even if they give you the offer. You're just as important as them. I always say the same thing. You're not superior to anyone. You're not inferior to anyone. We're equal, okay? They brush their teeth at night or in the morning, and in the morning, hopefully, like you, right? And so we're equal, right? So you need to be confident about that. I call it quiet confidence. I'm not superior, but I'm not inferior either. So when you ask these questions, can you just give me one moment, please? I want to think about my answer. They're going to be like, of course you do. So that's what you do. Now, people wonder about, well, what about all these other questions that I've been preparing for this and this and this and this? Okay, that's great that you prepared. Again, please don't memorize and try to recall the answers, but it's so important for you to go into the interview and basically know that whatever question they ask, I can answer. Just answer the questions under 2 minutes. Tell me about yourself, number one. Why should we hire you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And I just want to give you one more very important piece of advice. You IT professionals, okay, and engineers as well, and it can be other professionals, the lawyers or something. If they ask you, and they probably will on a second or third interview, a technical question. So you're like, John, you mean you want me to keep my answers around 2 or 3 minutes maximum? Yes. Is this possible? It is. I'm going to share with you right now how it's possible. All right. So they give you a technical question. Let's just say it's an information technology question. They're hiring you as a software developer. They ask some question to you. All right. So what you do, and this can be in any other area, engineering, in any other profession, legal, medical, educational, banking, finance, whatever. Answer the question so they know you know what that is. That's all you need to do. You answer the question so they know you know the answer to the question. And then what do? You stop. You don't try to showcase your skills like I told you before, and I highly recommend not trying to impress them directly. You stop, you refrain from, it is not a teaching time. It's not I'm a professor and now you're a student. It is a job interview. Their time is precious. So when you stop and don't try to showcase your knowledge, showcase your professional skills and professional prowess and acumen, you stop and you say this. As you know, to answer that question completely or in its entirety, I could maybe take more time than we have left in the interview. But if you want me to continue, we'd be happy to. 99% of the time, they're going to say, thank you. That's great. And they'll ask you another question. I'm telling you, that does more than answering a million questions correctly because it shows professional etiquette. You're showing that I'm in a job interview. I'm not in a teaching moment or a coaching moment. I answered the question. They know I know the answer. I'm not trying to waste their time by going on for 5 more minutes explaining what you already know. And you give them the opportunity to ask you another question. It's worth its weight in gold. Definitely, definitely, definitely. I have lost track of how many people around the world in those professions, so many come back and said, John, thank you. I got the job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this means more to me than money for my classes. It means so much to me personally as well as professionally. So what I'm sharing with you, the things that I share with you in this video and the last video, look, I didn't read this in a book. I learned this from years of experience, human relation skills, and many, many other things that I've learned from having almost 25,000 classes with professional people. What works and what doesn't work. And if you can just take home these short little recommendations, but if you can take home that when you go into the meeting and look, they want to hire me, they know I'm qualified, I need to sit there and be myself, keep my answers short, and keep a nice relaxed smile on my face. Make it easy for them to like you. Make it easy for them to hire you. Make yourself believable. I promise you that when they're finished all of their interviewing and they've got half a dozen people that they need to consider, they will probably shortlist you as someone that they felt was real and honest and transparent, and the same person that would walk through their doors on Monday morning to your new job. I hope you got something out of this. If you want one-on-one coaching with me, I'll be happy to do that. Just put it in the comments. Any feedback, anything like that. It's a new channel. I started this just less than a month ago. So if you know anyone that needs coaching for the job interview, please let them see and share this video. Or if they want to schedule a one-on-one, I can do that too. I also specialize in IELTS coaching. I've done it 1,000 times, helping people get there. I evaluate your English first, and then afterwards, I coach you on how to do it. And most of it is preparation mentally, psychologically for that particular test. It's not, in my opinion, a fair test, but that's something else. Thank you for taking the time. I hope you got something out of this. It's April 10th. 2026, and it's around 4:30 here in Brazil. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the weekend, and please feel free to comment, share, and I hope you have a great weekend. Ciao for now.